Hello students, so in the previous class we learned the concept of electrostatic potential energy and electrostatic potential, wherein we saw electrostatic potential was the amount of work done in moving a unit positive charge from infinity to that particular point against the electrostatic force. V was given by W upon Q, where W was the work done in getting a charge from infinity to that particular point at which we are finding the electrostatic potential, divided by the magnitude of the charge, that was Q. Okay, so this was the thing we saw yesterday. We also saw that the SI unit of electric potential was volt. Today's class, we are going to learn one derivation, that is to find out the electric potential at a point due to a point charge. So for that reason, let us consider a point charge plus Q. So let's say this is my point charge plus Q, okay, which is placed at the origin. So let's consider this charge plus Q is placed at the origin. So let's say this origin is O. I intend to find out an electric potential at point P, let's say, which is at a distance of R from this positive charge Q. So this is point P, that is my observation point at which I'm going to find out electric potential, which is at a distance of R from the charge which is producing the potential. Okay. So now what is electric potential? Electric potential is the amount of work done in getting a unit positive charge right from infinity to that point. Okay, so let's say that this is a infinity point over here. Okay, this is at a distance of infinity from point origin. Okay, let's consider an arbitrary point A, let's say over here, and one more point, arbitrary point B. Okay, let's say this point A is at a distance of x from the origin, and point B is at a distance of dx, okay, from A. So this distance between A and B is dx, and distance from the charge plus Q to the A is x. So let's complete this line over here. Okay, so this completes your figure. Okay, so now what we will do is we are going to get a test charge, okay, a small positive test charge, let's say Q naught, from point A to point P. Okay, and then we are going to find out the work done and then combine that work done to get the total work done in getting the charge from infinity to point P, and that is going to be our potential. Okay, so now suppose this test charge Q naught is placed at a point A, which is at a distance of x from the origin O. So by Coulomb's law, the electrostatic force acting on the charge Q naught due to this plus Q is going to be what? So the force is going to be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q into Q naught divided by the distance between them square. That is going to be x square. And what is going to be the direction? Since both are positively charged, the direction is going to be outwards. That is, it is going to be a repulsive force. Correct? The force direction is going to be something like this, because both are positive. So the force acting on Q naught is going to be a repulsive force. So it will go away from the source charge. Now, the force F, let's see, this is vector F. So this force F acts away from the charge Q. That is quite obvious, right? So the small work done in moving the test charge Q naught from A to B. Okay, what I am doing now, I am just finding the work done, the small work done in moving this test charge Q naught from A to B through a small displacement, let's say dx, because the distance between them we have taken as dx, against this electrostatic force. This electrostatic force is trying to take it this side. But what I'm doing, I'm trying to take this test charge Q naught towards the Q, that is from A to B through a small displacement of dx. Okay, I hope you understand. I'm taking this test charge, okay, and I'm moving this test charge from A to B through a small displacement of dx against electrostatic force. So my external force will be doing a positive work. My electrostatic force will be doing a negative work, opposite. Okay, so let us find out that work done. So this small work done in moving the test charge from A to B through a small displacement dx against the electrostatic force will be given by, let's say it is dw, that is small work done, F, that is electrostatic force, dot dx, the displacement. Force dot displacement is the work done. So what is it going to be? Force into displacement into cos of theta, angle between force and displacement. So if you see, the force is acting from left to right, but the displacement is happening from right to left. They are opposite in direction. Force is this way, displacement is this way. So in that case, it's going to be cos of 180 degrees. Okay, and cos of 180 is minus 1. That is why you get the work done as negative. That is the work done by the electrostatic force as negative F dx. This is going to be your small work done in moving the test charge Q naught from A to B through a displacement of dx against the electrostatic force. Okay, so this is a small work done moving from here to here. So now if we want to find out the total work done in moving this test charge from infinity to this point P, what I'm going to do over here, apply my little of mathematics, that is integration. So the total work done in getting the charge from infinity to this point P is going to be integral of this small work done. What we will be doing, we'll be combining such small works from the infinity. Okay, we are going to integrate it. Okay, so it is going to be, let's substitute whatever we got over here. So it's going to be integration from infinity to r. How do I get this limits? The larger limit, that is from where to where we are coming, from infinity to point P. So infinity is obviously at a distance of infinity and point P is at a distance of r from the origin. So that way you have to take the limits of integration. Displacement. Okay, so basically infinity is infinite distance away and point P, we are going to get it from infinity to point P, and point P is at a distance of r away. So it is going from infinity to this r. Okay, now substitute minus F dx. Okay, so this minus sign remains out. Infinity to r. Let's substitute for force which we have found out over here. So it's going to be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q naught upon x square. Okay, into this dx. Okay, so now let us remove all the constant terms out. Okay, so which are the constant terms? q naught is constant, there is a negative sign outside. 4 pi epsilon naught is again a constant. What would remain inside? Integration from infinity to r. Okay, 1 upon x square into dx. Okay, this can also be written as minus q into q naught upon 4 pi epsilon naught. Okay, this can also be written as infinity to r x raised to minus 2 into dx for simplicity. Okay, so now how do we integrate this? The formula of integration of x raised to n dx is given by x raised to n plus 1 divided by n plus 1. This is the basic formula for integration. Same thing will apply over here. So this will remain as it is. Q naught 4 pi epsilon naught x raised to minus 2 plus 1 is going to be x raised to minus 1 divided by minus 2 plus 1 is going to be minus 1. This is going to be your integration, and we are integrating it from the limits infinity to r. Okay, so this is going to be minus and minus will become plus. So q into q naught upon 4 pi epsilon naught, this minus became plus. Okay, x raised to minus 1 can be written as 1 upon x from infinity to r. Okay, so as we continue, q into q naught upon 4 pi epsilon naught, we have to substitute the upper limit first. So it's going to be 1 upon r minus the lower limit 1 upon infinity. So this is going to be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught. Okay, this is going to be q naught upon this 1 upon infinity is nothing but 0, right? 1 upon infinity is 0. So it is going to be 1 upon r. So this is going to be your work done in getting the charge q naught from infinity to point P. Okay, so is this expression clear? Okay, hoping that this expression is clear. Okay, this is going to be your work done. So hence the work done in moving a unit test charge from infinity to point P, or the electric potential at a point P, is given by what? The electric potential by definition is given by the work done in getting that charge from infinity to that point divided by the magnitude of that charge, that is q naught. Correct? This is by definition. Yesterday in the previous lecture we saw. It is the total potential at that point. Electric potential at that point is the work done in getting that charge from infinity to that point. From infinity to that point divided by that charge which you are getting, that is q naught. Okay, so from there we get this expression. So let's substitute this work done. 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q naught upon r square into 1 upon q naught, this one. So what will happen here? Q naught will get cancelled. So V will be equal to 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught q upon r. This is going to be your potential at that particular point. Okay, so potential at this point P is going to be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q, that is the charge which is producing that potential, divided by R. This is going to be potential at point P. Okay, this is the final expression here. So we need to note few things over here. So this is the main expression we got, that is potential at a point is 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q upon R. So let's see the analysis part of it. Okay, so the first point over here is the electric potential is a scalar quantity. Okay, so this quantity is a scalar quantity. We know that the SI unit of V is volts, correct, which is represented by capital V, or it is joules per coulomb. Okay, the CGS unit is stat coulomb. Sorry, stat volt. Okay, the CGS unit of the electric potential is the stat volt, and the conversion is 1 volt is 1 upon 300 times stat volt. Okay, this is the conversion. Another thing you have to remember over here, for a charge which is producing this charge, the source charge, greater than 0, the potential will be greater than 0. That is, for positive charge, there will be a positive potential around it. Okay, and for a negative charge, if the charge is less than 0, then the potential at a point due to this negative charge is going to be lesser than 0. Okay, so positive potential implies the work is being done by the external agent to move a test charge Q naught from infinity to that point. Okay, and what does the negative potential implies? The work is done by the electric field. Okay, to move the charge Q naught, that is the test charge, from infinity to that point. Okay, so if the potential is positive, the work is being done by the external agent, and if the potential is positive, the work is being done by the external agent, and if the potential is negative, the work is being done by the electric field to move the test charge from infinity to that point. Okay, another thing you have to remember over here is, if you see the formula, V is directly proportional to Q. Okay, and V is inversely proportional to R. This is what you can see from this formula. Okay, the change in this potential per unit distance, if you consider dV by dr, the change in potential in between the 2 points, okay, with respect to the displacement, okay, it's called as the potential gradient. This we'll be learning again in the next chapter. Okay, so what is potential gradient? Just briefing you on this. Potential gradient is nothing but a change in electric potential per unit distance. It's called as the potential gradient. Okay, this is expressed in volts per meter. Okay, it is given in volts per meter. Now, supposing we have system of charges. Okay, there are a lot of charges. Let's say there is Q1, there is Q2, there is Q3. Okay, and we need to find out the potential at point P. Okay, due to all these charges. So let's say that this distance is R1P, this distance is R2P, and this distance is R3P. Okay, so in this case, potential at this point P, okay, is given by, you have to take individually one each. Okay, so total potential at this point P, because it is a scalar quantity, just take the scalar addition. Okay, so it's going to be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q1, the first charge is producing, divided by the distance R1P, plus 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q2 upon R2P, plus 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught Q3 upon R3P. So there are n number of charges. These terms will go on and on till n terms. Okay, so now 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught is common over here. So what will remain? Q1 upon R1P plus Q2 upon R2P plus Q3 upon R3P. Okay, now supposing I want to write it in the general form, it will be V at P is going to be 1 upon 4 pi epsilon naught is common. Let's put summation sign. Okay, this is, let's represent this as I, because the number is changing, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Upon this number is also changing, so RIP. When it is 1, this is 1. When this is 2, when this is, same thing will be 2. Okay, so it will be QI, the number which is changing, divided by RIP, the number which is changing. Okay, and I goes from 1 to n. if there are n number of charges present in the system. Okay, so no vectors involved over here because it's a scalar quantity. Remember that. Okay. Okay. Now if there are 2 points, let's say point A and point B, okay, and the potential at these points, let's say, is VA and VB respectively. Okay, in an electric field, the electrostatic potential difference between here, that is, let's say VB minus VA. Let's say VB is at a higher potential than VA. Then the potential difference over here is the work done in getting the charge from A to B upon the charge Q naught which you are getting. Okay, so this is the definition in this case. So supposing Q is greater than 0. Okay, if the charge which is to be moved is greater than 0, it will always move from higher potential to lower potential. Okay, and if supposing an electron has to move, that is, the charge is less than -1, if Q is lesser than -1, it will always move from lower potential to higher potential. So this will always go from higher to lower potential. Okay, and this would go from lower to higher potential. So can you tell me the direction, the conventional direction of current, how the current will flow? The current direction is always taken reverse to the direction of the electron. So electron always goes from lower to higher potential. So supposing I say VB is greater than VA over here, how the current will flow? Current will always flow from higher potential to lower potential, because current direction is taken as the direction of the positive charge, correct, opposite to the electron. Okay, so we'll see this again in the next chapter, but current direction will always be taken from a higher potential to a lower potential. So if we compare the electric field with the potential, electric field is inversely proportional to R square, as we know, and voltage, that is basically the potential, is always directly inversely proportional to R, correct? So if you see the difference, this is R square and this is R. So if we go to plot the graph, that is E or V versus R, okay, so the graph would look something like this. So basically, if you see, the electric field is changing rapidly with R because this is R square. This is going to change rapidly with R because this is almost squaring every time, correct? So the curve for electric field will be steeper. It will be steeper, okay, and the curve for the electric potential will be comparatively less steeper, okay, as compared to electric field. Okay, so this is what the difference is between electric field and the electric potential. Okay, now if the charge body is placed in the material medium, okay, this is a special case. If the charge body is placed in the material medium, in that case V medium, that is potential, and in the medium is going to be V vacuum. The potential in vacuum at the same point divided by the dielectric constant K. Okay, the dielectric constant of that particular medium. Okay, so this is again simple formula for numericals or entrance exams. So this is all about the derivation, or this is all about the equation for the electric potential at a point due to a point charge. In the next class, we are going to see the potential due to different systems, like due to an electric dipole, due to a charged shell, okay, potential energy of the system of charges in the external field. All this topic we are going to do in the consecutive consecutive lectures. So this is it for today. I'll see you in the next class.